Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Her Accountability Coach, Mom Edition. I decided to do this podcast on positive parenting techniques. We have to learn how to parent properly. Being a parent, you change the future of your child based off of their childhood. So today's podcast, we're going to talk about active listening, positive reinforcement, setting clear boundaries, model behavior, empathy, problem solving, consistent routines, time in rather than time out, encourage independence. I decided to do the podcast in wide age ranges. Why? We all become a parent at a certain age, but parenting takes maturity. So the first one that I'm covering right now is setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is all about clear communication. When you have to set the rules, you have to have clear communication. So with that being said, you have to make sure your child understands the rules and why you set the rules. Sometimes explaining helps the child not to break the rules. So when you're having a conversation with your child and you're setting a rule, the clear communication way would be have the child repeat exactly what you said. Even if it works better, have them write it down so that you guys are on the same page. A lot of parents believe that they should not have to explain the why. I feel like when you're setting rules, it is great to tell them the why so that they don't end up making the same mistakes that you make. A lot of us were told, I don't have to give you no explanation. That's fine. If that worked for you, then that's how you parent. But in this day and age, with so much influence, you need to sit down and have a complete conversation with your child. When we were growing up, it wasn't so much of influence of the TV and the TikTok and the Instagram. Now, everywhere they go, it's an influence for them to feel like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do exactly what you're telling me? They find ways out of it more easily now because of the influences that they are seeing. The next thing is setting model behavior. We have to remember our children are like sponges. Whatever they see, they do. So we have to remember that they're watching us constantly and they're going to end up doing what we don't want them to do based off of the things that we're actually doing. We have good days, we have bad days, we get off track. But even when you get off track, it's great to sit the child down and have a conversation. Hey, mommy is having a bad day. I was wrong. I wasn't supposed to say that or do that. Why? We're human. We're going to make the mistakes. But the child has to learn also that mommy is not a perfect person. Mommy also makes mistakes, but mommy knows how to get it right. The next one is empathy and understanding. A lot of us struggle with this because we feel like we become this soft parent. No, you're not becoming soft parent, or you're not gentle parenting because you have empathy. Empathy is allowing your child to know that they can talk to you in a safe space. It's no judgment zone. And that you guys are having a conversation that is going to be a genuine exchange. Now they won't be scared to come to you when things are going bad for them because they know that my mom is my safe space. Sometimes if you know that you suffer with empathy for yourself and for others, start a journaling feed with your child. Start a text feed. Empathy is you show no emotions in your face. You show no emotions through your mouth. You're listening. You're actively listening. You're actively hearing what the child wants to tell you. You're having a very guided conversation. And you know if you were successful based off of how it ends. This is the one that we need to sit down and say, can I do this? Am I strong enough? Sometimes it takes two people. to sit down and let the child open up to, because you need that accountability person so that you don't change your mind and start fussing because, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that you're telling me this. When a child is younger, they make up stories. They make up friends. They start telling you stuff. And we have to learn to hear and listen from a prophetic mindset and a prophetic ear. Why? That child is telling you exactly what they watched, where they are, and what they understand. So as a mom, God gave us a sense in us to say something happened here. Something was entertained. This baby saw something. So you have to learn to listen. And you have to become a great listener in order to be a great parent. Okay? Effective problem solving. Effective problem solving is, why did you do this? Where did you learn this from? Okay? And I don't know is not an answer. I don't know makes you upset and now you're hollering and screaming. These are questions they must answer. Every why you ask them, they need to answer the why, because now you're going to give them the how this is going to be fixed. So when you're problem solving, you need to think of where, why, and how, because you don't want this thing to recircle back around. And you know why you're upset, they don't know, because innocently they were just doing something. But I don't know is not an answer, and don't accept it. I don't know means I have the possibility to do it again, because I don't know what am I doing. My next one is my favorite one. Time in, not time out. Time in, not time out. Okay? Isolation punishment to discuss the behavior and the emotion. Time in. Time in means I was so checked out, so my child ended up doing this. And this one is a hard one because we do the whole time out. Time out in your house could be a beating, could be an actual time out. It can be a form of a punishment, however you see fit in your house of what to do. But before you discipline that child, ask yourself, have I really put time in before I give them a timeout? Have I put time in explaining? Have I had the patience I needed so that my child wouldn't do things that they're not supposed to do? So disciplinary acts are based off of where you are and what did you put out and why did this happen. So if you don't see any wrong in yourself, like, no, I keep having the same conversation with you, this keeps happening, then you know that this is by your child's choice. Encourage independence. Now, this is by age. If you're dealing with a child under 10, you give them chores. You give them the same thing to do for the next month or 2 months. Hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. By you giving your child little chores, little tasks to do, you're formulating their behavior makeup to say, okay, mommy likes me to wash the dishes. Mommy likes me to pick up the toys. And the older they get, they become great habits that they foster in their teenage years, and then they end up fostering it in their adults. But you have to start off when they're little. And even if you're catching this now and they're 12 and 13, great. Create a project board with them and say, hey, these are the things that you're supposed to do. And let them do it in a timely manner. Once again, give them the rules, let them follow it. The last one, staying calm and patient. This one is hard. I suffered here because children do not know how much patience we really have behind closed doors. A lot of the things we see, they do, we don't even say anything. Why? Because we're trying to stay calm. Because we're trying to have patience. Listen, patience is all about You being able to have a conversation without hollering and screaming and cursing. You can practice. It's not going to be perfect and right every single time, but you can practice this in a way to where the child never suffers. They can never bring up in your face, look how you were talking to me. No, because why? You have established, okay? You have established great principles within your child to where they know, hey, I got in trouble, but now you don't have to apologize for the cursing and the yelling, right? You dealt with the problem. Deal with the problem. When you learn how to zero in and deal with the problem, there's no space for screaming and yelling and cursing. Their responses at that point really doesn't even matter because you're getting a point across. So learn to stay calm. Think before you speak. And the child will learn now. I have to have respect because I'm shown that. Once again, they do what you do. They say what you say. So eventually, as that child gets to be an adult, they will cuss you out. They will say what they want to say. Why? Because you freely expressed yourself. So at the end of the day, when we are parenting, we have to remember we're the models that they're going to be. We're the model adults that our children is going to see and be like. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.